Thank you. Okay. Right. So once again, welcome everyone to this webinar. My name's Vanessa. I head up the sales and marketing for IBTC. The agenda for this evening is I'm going to take you through, give you an introduction of who IBTC is, and share with you the SEMA qualification framework, share with you exemptions, and then I'm going to talk about whether you're going to study SEMA the traditional route or FLP, and then I am going to show you the FLP portal. So let's start off with who is IBTC. So we've been around since 2006, and we one of the leading tuition providers for SEMA and ACCA. And as I said earlier, we have put through the majority of FLP students in South Africa. About a month ago, we got an award for the #1 reseller, which we are very proud about. So with IBTC, students come first, and our philosophy is to have the whole team at the office behind you. We're with you every step of the way from registration right through to graduation. So we hold your hand right throughout the whole process, and you can really say that success is on your side. Now, I'd just like to go into the SEMA framework just so that I can explain it to you. I saw in the chat there were quite a few new people. So if you just allow me a minute or two to go through the qualification framework. So SEMA is made up of 4 levels. It is the certificate, operational management, and the strategic level. Then it is made up of 3 main pillars. You have the E pillar or the enterprise pillar, which is made up of strategy, risk, HR, marketing. The P pillar is the heart of SEMA, and that's the management accounting. And then the F pillar is the financial reporting. So depending on your qualifications, and I'm going to talk about exemptions, you will start at certain levels. If, for instance, you don't have any academic qualifications, you'll start on the certificate level. If you have a plain BCom, you will start on the operational, BCom accounting on the management level. And if you are a qualified CA, you just have to do the strategic case study. But just hang fire, I will be explaining exemptions. Can I also ask you just to hold on questions in the chat for the moment? After the presentation, I will open the floor for questions, but I'm almost 100% sure by the time the presentation ends, I will have answered all the questions. So, to finish SEMA, you basically have 2 routes. There is the traditional route, which is known as the PQ route, and we have FLP, which stands for Finance Leadership Program. So you can think of it as coming from Johannesburg to Cape Town, right? You've got 2 routes that you can go. You can either come by bus, which is quite a nice way to travel. You stop and look at all the towns. Or you can come by plane, where you basically just see clouds beneath you. Both destinations get you to Cape Town. So whether you're doing the fast track FLP or you're doing the traditional route, at the end of the day, you both get the exactly same qualification. All right? You get your SEMA designation. Now, on your diploma, once you finish, it doesn't say CGMA FLP or CGMA traditional route. All right, it is identical. It's just with FLP, it's a faster way of achieving your studies. Now, I'm going to be talking about the benefits of both, but what I did want to spend a bit of time is talking on exemptions. because I know this is a hot topic. So let me go through this, and hopefully all your exemption questions will be answered. There are three ways in which you can get exemptions. If by your professional membership, so if you are CIPA member, SAIPA, and you're in good standing with CIPA, you will start on the management level. If you are a CA, psycho qualified, there's a special arrangement that you only have to do the strategic case study. Then there is the academic qualifications, right? And I'm going to show the different qualifications, the most popular ones. And there is a third way, which is called an elite pathway. So some students, for instance, only have a matric and they have 15 years experience in finance or accounting. SEMA will recognize that experience, and they will give you exemptions based on your experience through a special pathway. Now, you pay for that special pathway. It starts at about 65,000 Rand. So you can think of it almost like a toll gate into getting exemptions. All right. But most of the students that study with us have an undergraduate degree. Now, the most popular undergraduate degree that we get questions, if you look at UNISA, plain BCom, you'll start on the operational level. BCom accounting will be on management level, BCom finance, BCom accounting science. If you have a postgraduate diploma, you will start on the management level. A lot of students get confused with the postgrad, thinking that's a CTA, that they can then start on strategic. With SEMA, you can't. The only way you can start on the strategic level is if you are qualified CA. If you don't have a postgrad, you have an advanced diploma, it's operational. If you have a BCom honors in financial management, you'll start on the management case study. Okay, so these are the most popular qualifications at UNISA. Then for Western Cape, KZN, reputable universities, it is more or less the same. If you are studying ICB, you'll start on the operational level. If you are studying with Varsity College, if you've got a BCom accounting, you'll be on the management level. For whatever reason, SEMA is not mad about Richmond University. They will put you on the operational level. Now, we have a direct contact at the SEMA exemption team. We can ask on your behalf, but we can't fight on your behalf. Once SEMA has said this is your starting level, we have no clout to change it. All we can do is ask on your behalf. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just tell you a little bit about whether you should study SEMA the traditional route or FLP. Now, at IBTC, we offer both options, and we stand behind both options. So if you are thinking which one is for me, hopefully this will explain to you. The traditional route is a very enriching way of completing your studies, right? And it's for those students that may not be able to commit to a 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year FLP. They're not sure if they're going to like SEMA, or they know in 3 months' time they're going to have a major project that they are going to be so busy with. Then my recommendation is do SEMA the traditional route. All right. So the different study methods, if you want to do the traditional method, is you can, we have live classes via Zoom. Semester 1 has started already, but semester 2 starts in July, end of July, if you want to join us. You can start tomorrow and do what we call an online course, where each week you will get tasks of what you need to do. And in 3 months' time, you'll be able to write the relevant subject. You get the textbook and access to pre-recorded UK lectures. The Home Study Plus is identical. The only difference is you're not going to get those weekly tasks. We give you a suggested study guide. Okay, so personally, I recommend the virtual classes. These are live classes via Zoom starting in July. It's run by an IBTC lecturer that are all SEMA qualified, and more importantly, they work at places like Spa, Amazon, so they have real life examples to share with you. So my advice is if you can't commit to a 1 year, 2 year FLP, and you really want to take it slow and you want to pay as you go, then look at the traditional route. Okay, so now I know most of you are here for FLP, and we have two different types of FLP. We have FLP standard and FLP premium. With FLP in South Africa, you can only study through a tuition provider like ourselves. You cannot study directly through CIMA. So you can choose the standard option where you get access to the FLP portal, which I'm going to demonstrate in a few minutes. And you have unlimited tutor support by email. So as you're studying, and say now you get to activity-based costing and you can't get it right, you take a screenshot of the activity-based costing section, you email it to our tutor, they'll explain a bit better, and they will give you further reading that you can look at. Our FLP Premium includes case study classes with IBTC. So FLP gets sold in 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year subscriptions. If you're starting on the operational level of SEMA, we recommend you take out a 2 year FLP and you can finish 3 levels in 2 years. If you are on the management level, we recommend you take a 1 year FLP where you can do management and strategic in 1 year. And if you're starting on the strategic level, you have to take a 1 year. That's the shortest period. So with FLP, you basically can move quicker than the traditional route. Reason being, you have less exams. On FLP, the only exams you have to do is the case study. So if you're starting on ops, you just have to do the ops case study, management case study, and strategic case study. The rest of the subjects that I showed you earlier, you just do as an online competency. If you're starting on the management level, you can take out a 1 year FLP and you can finish both management and strategic in 1 year. So the only exams you will be doing is your management case study and your strategic case study. With the premium option, that includes case study classes with IBTC for your ops, man, and strat. All of that's included. Also, what's included is you get 2 exam tokens per level. So you basically get a rewrite for each exam. Okay, so before I'm going to stop sharing for the moment. And I just want to find out if anyone has any questions while I load up the FLP portal. You can raise your hand and then my colleague will help me while I load it up. So just raise your hand at this stage if you have any questions, or you can post it in the chat. Rob, if you can just handle questions, if anyone's got their hand up while I get the portal up.
Okay, thank you so much, Vanessa. I have a question from Mimi. Mimi is asking, what happens if my qualification is older than 7 years? She's asking about
Very good. Yes. So, very good question. We've heard rumors from SEMA they've extended the 7 to 11 years. We're waiting for formal notification, but we've been told they have updated the SEMA exemption calculator. So what my best advice is, please send Rob. Rob, do you want to put your email address in the chat? You can send Rob your certificate and transcripts, and Rob will check with you. If he is unsure at any stage, he will get hold of SEMA and confirm for you. Okay, Sarah, I see you got your hand up. Please go ahead.
Hi, Vanessa. So I have quite a stressful job. So I
Yes.
work very late hours. I'm actually still busy working now whilst I'm watching you. So if I'm on the management level, so if I chose the FLP route, could I
Yes.
extend it to 2 years so that I do management level year one and strategic year two?
Very good question. Absolutely, you can do that. So
So I can,
FLP, sorry,
sorry,
carry
so
on.
yeah, sorry, no, you carry on.
So I was saying FLP gets sold in 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year. So you could take out a 3 year if you wanted to. So you absolutely can take out a 2 year and then you got some more time to finish. But students say to me, is it possible to do 2 levels in 1 year? It is. In your case, because you're so busy, take out a 2 year one. But for those students who have I was going to say, I don't think you have a normal finance job because in finance, I know you're all busy. But if you're not as hectic and busy as Sarah, you absolutely can do 2 levels in 1 year.
Thank you, Vanessa.
You're
Yes, I
welcome.
have refillway, hence.
Okay, Rafielwe, do you want to ask your question?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, Vanessa. I have a question. I heard you were mentioning the universities. So currently, I
Yes,
have completed BCom of Accounting Science with Regenesis School of Finance. So can I get exemption still for that school?
you can, but I'm pretty sure it'll be operational level. Hey, Rob?
Most definitely, yes, but I've just sent my email address. If you can just send me your certificates and I'll just double check for you tomorrow morning.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
And can everyone see? I think Rob has put his email address on the chat. It's Robert at ibtc.co.za. Okay. Does SEMA work for TVET qualifications? I presume you're asking, will you get exemptions? Unfortunately, not. Not for TVET. Okay, so Cabela's asking me on Sarah's point, do you think 2 levels is possible while doing psycho articles? Yes. So I'm just about now to show you the FLP portal. But just for instance, if you are starting on the management level, right? Let's say you start your FLP the first week of June, which is the next ideal start date. I'll talk about ideal start dates. A lot of people are asking questions. They've got a qualification in the chat. Can I rather ask you to please email Robert with your certificate and transcripts, and he will come back to you tomorrow, latest Monday, of your starting level. Okay, so just email Robert at ibtc.co.za. When we help you with your exemptions, you're under no obligation to study with us, right? We do this for free. We're passionate about it. Someone's asking about a pricing. I am going to come to pricing now.
Uh,
So what I would like to
Sorry,
do,
there's
yeah,
Yakuba is up. I don't know if you want to take him before you
yes,
continue.
I will. Okay, Jacobus, please go ahead.
Hi, I started with operations and I've completed E1 and F1. I still need to do
Yes,
P1
correct.
on my operation side. So if I want to go now, of course, I've already registered everything through CIMA. If I
Yes,
want to do now the FLP, what is the process if I want to go over now to FLP?
very good question. So if you want to move from, so Jacoba's on the traditional route. She will move to the FLP like for like. So when she gets onto the FLP portal, it will say exempt for E1 and P1. Is that what you said you've passed?
E1
Jacoba?
and E1 and F1.
Okay, so on the site, it will say exempt for E1 and F1. You just have to complete the P1 competency and then you write your operational case study. So in your case, Jacoba, a lot of people say to me, can I get away then with a 1 year FLP? If you work really hard, yes, you could sneak it in. If you are not at Jacoba's stage and you're starting at E1, don't try a 1-year FLP. All right, rather take a 2-year FLP. The price of a and I'll get to pricing shortly, the price of a 2-year FLP is not double the price of a 1-year. So it just makes sense if you're starting on the operational level, then, rather take some time. I see there's in the chat asking about prices. I will get to you. Someone's asking me, good question, Natasha. If my degree is older than 11 years, but I'm a CIPA member, as long as you are in good standing with CIPA, you'll start on the management level. Okay? If someone's asking me, is there any exemptions? Have you completed your CIPA articles? No. Rather, I need to know what your undergraduate degree is, and then you will get exemptions. Okay? So, the special pathway is really for those students that don't have an academic qualification, or their academic qualification is like 20 years old. Then I would consider it. But again, when you email Rob, he will pick it up straight away and come back to you and say, actually, I think you might be eligible for the special pathway. All right. So we'll have a look at it because each student is different. So we'll have a look at that and be able to give you better advice. Okay, I see there's a couple of hands. Let's just have a look and see who's got their hand up. And then I think, is it Dr.
Emmanuel?
Adinkule? Yes. Do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
You for this. Thank you for this opportunity. I just want to ask if SEMA have a standing relationship or agreement with ICANN. ICANN is Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. I have BSc Accounting, MSc Accounting, PhD Accounting, and I'm also a member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. So I want to know, as my first question, if there is a standing understanding between SEMA and ICANN, and if we have that, at what level will ICANN member start? That is my first question. My second question, as a SEMA member, do we have any, if such want to convert? Because the reason behind this is just because ICANN and SACA, they are not having any understanding as at now, because I've made my finding. So, and I work at UNISA, where most of the lecturers in my department are SACA member. So it is now on us, on some of us who are not from South Africa specifically, who possess other certificate, professional qualification from another country, to try as much as possible to get SACA. So I want to know whether by the time we are able to get to become a member of SEMA, whether there is a standing understanding or agreement between SEMA member that wants to have SACA and probably CCA. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm aware of the special agreement between SEMA and SACA in South Africa. I'm not aware of any agreement in Nigeria, but I presume there is a SEMA office in Nigeria. So what my suggestion is, still pop an email to Robert. We will find out the contact details of SEMA Nigeria, and you can see if there is a special arrangement. Alternatively, you can go onto the SEMA exemption calculator, put in your qualifications, and it will spit out what exemptions you get. In terms of the special pathway, we're not aware of it, but we can find out for you. So if you can just email Robert at ibtc.co.za. Okay, I'm going to take the last question and then I'm going to show you the FLP portal. Sorry, I don't know your name. It just says Samsung. So do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Thanks, ma'am. My name is Thelma. I wanted to
Aye.
find out, right? I've been trying to see how much of exemptions I'll get because I've got
Yes.
a BCom accounting and I've got an
Yes.
HDP in tax and I've got a master's in tax. And everywhere that I've went to, they're telling me that I need to start at operational level. I mean, with 16 years of
Okay.
working experience, that doesn't make sense. So I wanted to find out,
Okay.
will it be the same with the FLP? Will I qualify for the 1 year, or is it going to be the same way? I need to do a few more years before I get to the FLP.
Okay.
FLP
Your BCom accounting, what year did you finish?
2009.
Yes, then possibly you would be operational, but we have a direct contact with the exemption team in South Africa. So email all your certificates and transcripts to Robert. He will check with the exemption team in South Africa and come back to you.
All right. No, thank you so much.
It's only a pleasure. Okay, I am going to now demonstrate the FLP portal, and then I'm going to open up the floor again for questions. Can I ask you not to post on the chat? It's distracting for those people who are trying to listen. If it is any exemption queries, just email robert@ibtc.co.za, or otherwise you can even email me. I'm putting my email on the chat, but Robert knows the exemptions much better than me. So if it's an exemption query, email Robert. But if you would like a quote for FLP, you can email Robert or myself. Again, you're under no obligation. You can look at the quote and either submit it to your company. And we have partnered with Student Hero for payments. Student Hero is like the HIPAA of insurance, but for college funding. They go to all the banks on your behalf. And based on your credit score, you may be eligible for a competitive loan rate. Okay, so I'm going to show you the FLP portal now. Once I've shown you the portal, I'm then going to go through pricing, and then I'm going to open the floor for questions. I don't have a time limit here. I'm working at home, so I'll be on this call as much as possible to answer all your questions. Right, if I can ask my colleague Rob again, if he can just tell me when he can see the FLP portal.
I can see it from this side. I hope everyone is seeing as well.
Okay, and Rob, can you see all the competencies?
I can, Vanessa. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Right. This is the FLP dashboard, right? It will spit out, you can decide how many topics and things you're going to do, and it'll spit out when you're going to finish. So, depending on your starting level, you get access to all the levels straight away. So you can see there's a foundational, operational, management, and strategic. If you're starting on the management level, there'll be a star next to management. And if you're starting on the operational level, there will be a star next to the operational level, right? So this is a dummy site, and it assumes I am on the management level. These blue blocks is E2. Remember I showed you in the qualification framework the enterprise subject? This orangey brown color is P2, the management accounting, and the teal green is F2, the financial reporting. So with FLP, the reason why you can do 2 levels in 1 year is on the traditional route, you'd have to write an exam for E2, you'd have to write an exam for P2 and F2. So I think it was Sarah who said she's passed E1 and F1. She had to write an exam. So Sarah, just think now, there's no more OT exams. It's an online competency. So these competencies, I'm going to demonstrate how you do them. And once you finish them, then you only do the only exam requirement, which is your management case study. Now, I am going to show you a quick and easy competency project management, right? And this competency is quick and easy. The rest of them are much longer and harder, but I'm just showing you so you get the gist of it. So with SEMA, there's no textbook. All the learning is online. You can print and make notes as you go. So what you will do is you'll start off with the learning. And you're reading and you're learning. If you like to make notes, you can be busy scribbling down and learning as you go. And you're studying and studying and learning and learning. And you're reading and you are studying and learning. And you carry on studying and learning and learning. And it will come up with a knowledge question to make sure that you actually understand what you're doing. So this is all about a Gantt chart. And the question is, based on the Gantt chart that follows, select all the correct statements. So it's a multiple choice and you have to select the correct statements. So let's say I think those two are the right answer. I submit it and it comes back and it gives me feedback and it says correct, you've got it right. Then I carry on. Sometimes you watch a quick video, carry on, another quick video. Here's another question. So let's say I think the answer is this. I submit it, comes back and says correct. So I carry on. I'm still in learning, carry on. And then soon there will be another question. So the question is here. So let's say I think the answer is that, and I submit it. Now it is incorrect, right? It's given me feedback why it's incorrect, so I can retake it. So I go back, read properly, come back and say, oh, I see it's this. I submit, and it comes back and says correct. Okay, so I'm reading and learning and reading, and eventually I'm going to get to the end of the competency. And when I get to the end of the competency, it is now going to say to me, you need to do a competency test. This test is not timed, and you can do it over and over until you get it correct. So I'm now going to attempt the competency test. The reason why CIMA does this is they want to make sure that you understand what you've learned. Because you could be like me, just pressing any button until I get it right and I've learned nothing. So now CIMA says, okay, let's do a competency test. In this particular competency test, can you see at the bottom, there's 3 questions. You need to get all 3 correct. Otherwise, you must repeat the test. And you can repeat the test over and over till you get it right. Some competencies might have 20 questions and you need to get about 17 or 18 correct. In this particular one, there's only 3. So the first question, let's say I think that's the answer. And I submit my answer. And it comes up correct. I move on to the next one, read it, come back and say, I think that's the answer. I submit. And it comes back correct. And I move on to the final one. And let's say I think that's the answer. And I submit it. And that one's incorrect. Tells me why it's incorrect, but I can't retake that question because I'm in the competency test. So I finish it, and then CIMA says, sorry for you, do the test again until you get it right. Once you get it right, your circle will get a tick in to say completed. And when you've got all your circles done in a competencies, you get one big tick like that. So those of you who are starting on the operational level, you're going to start off by doing all your competencies. Once you've finished all these competencies, you are then going to join us for case study classes, right? Let's say you write your operational case study on the 7th of May. It takes 6 weeks for your results to come up. You don't wait. The very next day, you go on to the management level and you start doing your competencies. The same for those people who write their management case study, say the 15th of May. Takes 6 weeks for your results. You don't wait. Very next day, you go on to the strategic level and you do your competencies. So you get 2 exam tokens for each level. So there are ideal start dates mainly applicable to a 1-year FLP for those students likely to start on the management level, right? An ideal start date, the next ideal start date is the first week of June. If you start the first week of June, your subscription is going to end the end of May next year. Why is that important? Because you can write your case study exam 4 times in the year, right? February, May, August, and November. So if you start the first week of June, you can attempt your management case study in August. Worst case scenario, you fail, you rewrite it in November. You attempt your strategic case study in February next year. Worst case scenario, you fail, you rewrite it in May, and then you're still within your 1-year FLP. Had you started your FLP the first week of May, right? You're going to do everything, and then your subscription's going to end the end of April. And what will happen on the 30th of April? You'll be phoning Vanessa and saying, why didn't you tell me an ideal start date? Now I've missed out May exam date. Okay, so for a 1-year FLP, ideal start date's very important. If you want to start FLP now, start the first week of June. If you are on the operational level and taking a 2-year FLP, and for the lady who said to me, can I take out a 2-year for management? It is not as important. You can start FLP anytime. So just to let everyone know, if you want to start your FLP the first week of May, we have to have payment by the end of the month, right? If you want to start your FLP the first week of June, we need payment by the end of April. If you want to start the first week of July, then payment